If you'd like a quick tip on how to lock focus to take better portrait photography, then stay tuned. This video is for you. I've received a lot of questions regarding focusing and what is the best focus mode and how do I lock focus for portrait photography, and that's what I'm going to answer for you today. I simply use single point focus system. That's it. Now this right here is just an entry-level Nikon camera. If you follow me at all, you'll know I use this camera in a lot of my videos. This is the D3400. Now I really like this camera because it's capable. Now it doesn't really matter what camera you have, just know that you will have some kind of single point focus mode on your camera. And a lot of manufacturers today really tout this ability for more focal points and they want to charge more money for it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but is it really needed? Now, understand the concept behind a lot of focal points, and that is so that you can track the subject moving through the frame, and it's nice to have that, of course. And Sony also touts the ability to track the eyeball, and other manufacturers do the same thing. But I want you to know that when I'm taking portraits, understand that the subject is still. So that means I get to compose the scene, and they're looking back at the camera or wherever I want them to look. Now this gives me the ability to use just one focal point and I lock it on their eyeball, recompose, and take the shot. Now I'm going to show you just real quick on how to set up the single point focus mode on this entry-level Nikon camera. On the back of this camera, you're going to want to press the I button in the bottom left-hand corner right here where my thumb's tapping. That's going to present this menu. You're going to use the pad on the right-hand side where my thumb is, and you're going to navigate down to AF area mode. You're going to select it by pushing the OK button in the center of the pad. That's going to present these options to you: single point, dynamic, 3D, and auto. Again, we're going to stay with single point, and I'm going to select this by pressing the OK button. And now we're ready, and I'm going to show you just a few examples of where I have focused on the eyeball and then recompose for the shot. I'm in Lightroom, and if you follow me at all, you'll know that I do like to isolate my colors. Now, if you have any interest in learning all the tips and tricks in Lightroom, feel free to post a comment below, and I may create some additional videos on that. Nonetheless, I did leverage the single point of focus, and I locked in on this subject's eyeball. Now, what's important to note is that I was shooting with an aperture of f2.8, my ISO was 100, and I was using my fixed 50mm lens, which I really enjoy. Now you might look at this and think, well, which eyeball do you lock focus on? Well, in this particular case, I lock focus on her left eye. Now you'll notice that this is not directly in the center of the image, so I had to move the camera slightly, lock the focus, recompose, and take the shot. Let's zoom in here and just take a quick look. And you can see that her left eye is just tack sharp. The eyelashes are nice and sharp as well, and you'll see that the focus starts to fall off just a little bit here on her right eye and more so on her hair off to the side here, obviously the background. This particular shot, I believe I was standing maybe 5 or 6 feet away from the subject, and it's really important to understand how far you are away from the subject and your f-stop, because the combination of those two will determine your depth of field. So in this case, it was really shallow, and that's what I like. It really gives that bokeh that I'm looking for on the other side of her face in this particular case. So this is the same subject here. You can see the fence back in here, how the focus really starts to fall off, and then it gets sharp right up here on her face. Now, in this particular case, I focused on her right eyeball instead of her left. And you can see, again, that depth of field and just how tight it is. But I think it makes for a really good shot. It's just unique, and it's one that I really enjoy. On this particular example here, you can see that the subject is, facing the lens here, but leaning up against a tree. Now I focused in on the left eye, but I was able to get a little bit of focus here on the right eye as well. As you can see, both her eyes look like they're really in focus. How you can tell where the focus is at, though, is look at her hair. So the hair on the right side of her head starts to fall off a bit.
On the left side, we're nice and tack sharp. Now the reason for this, compared to the previous image, is that I'm further away. So instead of being, say, 5 or 6 feet, I might have been 7 or 8 feet away, which increases that depth of field. So the depth of field probably goes from right about here, just to the right side of her eye, maybe back in here on the left side of her head. So that's the reason why we're getting all of this in focus. And I have one more example to show, and that is this one right here. So you can see this is a really unique image. I really enjoyed taking this shot, but I used the single point focus here and just locked in on either one of the eyes because they're both equal distance to the lens, recomposed and took the shot. But when we zoom in here, you'll see that her eyes are in focus, eyebrows are in focus, the hair's in focus. We start to fall off just a little bit on the shoulders here, and then as you go back, you'll see that it just becomes more and more blurred out. And I think it really makes for a nice, sharp, unique image. So again, single point focus has worked very well for me, and these are some examples on how I've used them in the past.
I hope you liked this video. Keep in mind, this is just meant to be a quick tip. This video is intended to be relatively short, straight, and to the point. Nothing special. That's what it's all about. Now, if you like this type of video, be sure to let me know in the description below, and that way I can create more of these. And don't forget, I'm on Instagram, so if you're not following me over there, check the description below as well, and I'll post a link as to how you can do so. If this video has helped you out, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. It's called Real World. More often than not, I post videos about photography and technology, but you never know. So until the next video, take care of yourself and be safe.